There you go. So now as you start on your back, first begin by evaluating with the legs straight. How's everything feeling against the floor, against your mat? Notice if there is any chattiness. Notice if you are listing to one side. And then peek up, look down at your body and see if you actually placed yourself evenly so everything is equidistant away from the center. So proprioception, our sense of where our body parts are in space, are also affected by muscle tension, even or uneven muscle tone. And so with this information, I invite you to bend up the knees and let the hands come to rest on the lower abdomen. And from your body, now begin to turn your attention to your breath. Flowing in and out. In and out. And also tonight I'm going to invite you to incorporate Ujjayi breathing on the out breath only. So the Ujjayi is that gentle restriction in the throat. And pretending first to fog up a glass or a mirror and hold one hand up in front of your mouth. And as you exhale, feel this gentle restriction, the glottis and the throat. We'll do that one more time. And then repeat now, but with the mouth closed. So we are still generating a soft hissing sound, not a big, hairy deal, but it's enough of a sound that it occupies the mind for starters. It will help slow down the breath, and it supports activating the diaphragm a little bit more efficiently. And if at any time you feel that this is just plumb irritating, let it go. Just let it go. Remember, no strain. Normal breath in. Ujjayi out breath. The Ujjayi out breath turns on the parasympathetic nervous system. So we're just pulling out all the big guns here. The parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode for the body. And when we want to move the muscle tone into the lower area, we want to be in the parasympathetic nervous system. And then we'll begin to invite in the arch. On the next in-breath, contract the muscles on the low back to facilitate a gentle arch upward. And as you exhale, again, maybe with the Ujjayi, floating back to neutral. Just take a full breath in and out. And again, contracting, and explore how much and what is contracting. So we don't have to hit it out of the park every time. Doing less helps activate different muscle fibers. Do it one more time. On your next in-breath. So this release, the slow, controlled release, that's where the magic happens. And then we'll turn our attention to the lower abdomen now for the other side of the coin. Taking a breath in for nothing, and as you exhale, now draw the belly button towards the spine and spine towards the floor. So hollowing out the belly. And slowly let go as you fill the abdomen back up. Buffer breath. On your next out breath, maybe Ujjayi. Draw the belly down towards the floor and then scooping up. And then slowly release. Take another buffer breath. Do it one more time. Breath in for nothing. And scoop the belly in and up. Maybe take the pelvic floor along with you, Mula Bandha. And letting go. Buffer breath. And we are ready to put these two together. On your next in-breath, arch. Belly expands. And out-breath, floating back to neutral. Slow and controlled. Breath in for nothing. And exhale. Everything draws in and up. And slowly release. Back to neutral. Buffer breath here. And repeat. In breath. Arch. Sense the contraction. Slow and steady. Floating back. Breath in for nothing. And exhale. Flatten. And again, maybe draw the pelvic floor up. And fill your vessel back up again with the breath. Easy peasy. Sliding the legs out. Relax the arms, relax the legs. Everything cools. What changed? Let the legs roll in and out. In and out. Big toes towards one another and then away. Sweep, 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 sweep. Just a little reset movement. Okay, so we got a little tense around the hips from keeping the legs in a bent position. And we'll bend the knees up again. I'm doing frog legs to draw the knees up. That circumvents the psoas. So instead of pulling the knees straight up, doing this out to the side sweeper. Let's take that, interlace the fingers behind the head for the arch and curl. And again, if you find that that's irritating for your shoulders, feel free to modify or adjust any way that works for your body. We'll start with on an in-breath with the arch. And exhale, moving right into the flattening. Drawing the elbows in, curling up. Squeeze the elbows together. Hold the elbows in as you slowly lower the head down. Inhale, relift the elbows and then slowly exhaling. Lowering, spreading the wings down. Once the elbows are down, that may take more than one breath. Take a full breath in and out. And we repeat. On the in-breath, arch. Exhale. Flattening again. Draw the elbows up and curling up. And slowly lengthen the back seam out. Keep the low back moving towards the floor. Relift the elbows and slowly let them begin to float down. Are they moving evenly, or does one have a little bit more jitteriness than the other? That's information about what's going on. One's all the way down, let go of all effort. Breath in and out. And again, arch on the in-breath. And exhale, flattening. The whole front seam, the red light reflex contracts, pulls the head and just the top of the shoulders up. And then I'm going to hold the back down as I lengthen out. Once the head is down, relift elbows and slowly, slow, lower them down towards the floor. Notice if they are coming down maybe a little bit closer than when you started. Buffer breath. One more time. Arch. Flattening. Elbows up, curling up. Use the abdominal muscles. The hands merely supports the head, nothing else. And lengthen back out. Holding the tension on the muscle, but releasing it. Steady and easy. We'll relift of the shoulders before I spread my wings. Soaring with ease. All the way down. Release the hands from behind the head. Straighten the legs. And sensing the back body, the arms, the shoulders. And again, let's sweep legs in and out. Letting the front of the hips, the front groins, let's relax and release. And then with as little effort as possible, take your left arm up, roll over onto your abdomen. I'll take the left arm down alongside the body. So however you want to get on. I made it sound much more complicated than it really was. So find your way over onto your belly. There you go. So that was the front seam we did, the red light reflex. So now let's take our attention to the green light reflex. Tension along the back seam. And we begin by lifting the head. As you inhale, lifting the head, looking over your right shoulder or your left, whatever side you want. We're going to do both. And as you do so, notice the whole back seam lifts up, slowly release down, letting the hips be a little buoyant as you lift up. Will facilitate the head lift. Buffer breath. And on your next in-breath, repeating. Hips get a little lift. The head comes out easier. Now you can explore, if you would like, on the next one, instead of letting the hips be buoyant. What happens if you press the hips down instead as you inhale and lift the head? Was it harder? Was it easy? What is different about this? Having a body is a science experiment. We got a lot of variables to work with. Breath in and out. And we'll add the right arm and the head. Now I recommend you press the hips down and lift your arm and the head. Slow, slow, releasing down. Buffer breath. On an in-breath, pressing the hips down. Head and arm. Lift. And then slowly lower down. Buffer breath. Last one. Inhaling. Pressing hips down. Lifting. Can you slow it down a little bit more on the descent? Everything pulls. And just place your head in a manner that's comfortable. That may be facing straight down, not turned to the side. It can be wherever it feels good. Left leg. On the in-breath, press the hips down. We lift the left leg up. And slow, slow. Lowering down just the left leg. Buffer breath. Again. Pressing the hips down. That activates the glutes. And we need to turn the glutes on. That is our extensor muscle. That psoas can't lengthen out without the glute. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Lowering down. Easy peasy. Last one. Hips presses down. Got the glute turned on. And lift the leg. And then slowly, low back and glute begins to release. Everything pulls. And then, now we're ready to combine. Head, arm, and leg. Inhale, press the hips down. Left leg, right arm, and head. Slowly releasing them. Pause for breath. And we repeat. On an in-breath, hips presses down, and lift. We release down. Everything cools. Trying to trick the brain a little bit because it's going to keep the whole army ready if it knows it's going to be going again. But we want to start from the least amount of tone to release even more. One more. Inhaling and lifting. That's why we tend to have more tension on our dominant side. Because the brain says, well, you're just going to activate again, so I'm just going to keep it already pre-started. It's like keeping your engine already always on a low idle. It's hard for the engine to be on a low idle forever. Now let's slide the left arm up. And then press the forearms down, lifting the head and the shoulders. And just turn the head to the other side and slide the right arm down. Now I am going to spin about so I can still see y'all. So here, everything is pulling, easy peasy. And then inhaling, lifting the head. And again, the hips are kind of floating up. It's a fascinating event. The first thing a baby does after it has learned to roll onto its stomach. It has to activate these spinal muscles to facilitate walking and crawling and eventually walking. Without this, neither will happen. Inhalation, lifting. And releasing. One more time, lifting, looking over the shoulder. Slow, 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 slow. Letting the release be longer than the activation. This is where the Ujjayi breath could be really helpful. Or just breathe in and out again. You may have to take more than one. Let's take the arm up with the head. So inhaling, press the hips down. Hand, head, arm. And slowly, slowly, slowly. Floating down like a feather. When you're ready, on the next inhalation, press the hips down and lift. What does it feel like? Is it same as the other side? Maybe it's easier. Maybe it feels harder for some reason. So investigate. We'll add one more. Lifting. and lowering. If you keep your eyes closed, and we are not swayed by how close we are to the floor, but rather, again, honing the proprioception ability. And we are indeed ready, begin. But of course, remember, you can do one or, oh no, just the leg, isn't it? Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. Leg. Inhale, right leg. Hips are pressing down. And lowering down. So when I say hips, I mean glutes. So sensing the glute turning on, the hamstring are turned on too, and the low back is helping. So you got a lot of soldiers for this one. But if the glutes are not turned on, it's gonna be a very unenthused event. Last one, press the hips down, and you can take the hand to the glute. Is it firing? Can you tell? And slowly, slowly. Down we come. Now, I think we're ready. On the next in-breath, left arm, head, right leg. Slowly release. Buffer breath. And we repeat. Lifting. And lowering, slow. How slow? Not how high, but how slow can you release? One more. Lifting. And lowering. Once down. Very slowly. Little effort as possible. We're going to roll over onto our backs. Straightening the legs out. Breathing in and out. So that sorted out the red light reflex, the front. That which pulls us forward, brings the head in front of the shoulders. Oh, and we sort out the green light district, where we are standing with our hips in front of our feet. So we're ready to get on to the sides, sometimes called the trauma reflexes. So we'll bend up our knees and we'll start with the diagonal arch and curl. So taking the left hand behind the head and draw the right knee in, holding it with the right hand. Then inhale, we start with the arch. Exhale, flattening, and then rotating up. Left elbow towards the right knee. And then slowly unwinding all the way back. Head, arm, off a breath. So taking care you're not using your arm to pull you in. Let the muscles of the trunk facilitate the movement. So it's not a big curl up, just enough to clear the left shoulder. So inhale, arch again. Exhale, flattening. Head is just barely up and then curling around. I feel my side waist. I feel my side chest. And releasing. Everything is down. One more. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. Curling up. Maybe you dry your breath. Not a big lift, just enough to clear the head up. And de-rotate. Everything is down, releasing. Right knee down, take the arm out. And we'll slide the legs out. Let's to investigate how that affected the body. Feeling the back body. What is different from one side to the other? And we'll bend out the knees again. Sliding the right hand behind the head and take the left knee in. And we'll inhale and arch against a little bit of the pec minors. Exhale, flattening, contract the front, contract the sides. We are off and running. And slowly back home again. Easy peasy. When you're ready on the in-breath, arch. Flatten. And rotate. Sense the muscles doing it as opposed to us using leverage to follow into it. And then we unwind all the way back. Everything pulls. One more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. And all the way up. And then slowly, slowly, slowly. Finding your way back where we started. Left leg releases down. Right arm out. And we swipe the legs out again. Breathing in and out. So maybe a little bit more space on the sides. We're going to work a little bit more with that with the side curl. So we'll bend up the knees and roll over onto, I'm rolling over onto my left side. You roll over onto whichever side you want because we're going to do both. So I'll start with my top arm just relaxed. It can be on the hip. It can be on the floor. It's wherever it's comfortable to place it. Knees are 90-90. So remember, check. My head lines up with my tailbone. So my gaze is straight forward, not curling down or looking down at my thighs. And we want to use the internal obliques, so they're right at the waist. So you might like to place your hand here because that gives us a little bit of feedback. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lifting your top foot. Keep the knees together. So I know you know this. And feel the muscles engaging. So the knees are pulled up at 90 degrees at the hips and 90 degrees behind the knees. Slowly release and feel the muscle lengthening back out. Off your breath. Breath in for nothing. And exhale. Lifting your top foot. Keep the knees together. It's like a door swinging open. And the waist contracting. And then slowly releasing the foot back down. Buffer breath. And breath in for nothing. Pull the heel up. The whole foot actually, not just the heel, that's silly. And notice how the space between the pelvis and your ribs are shortening, and then let it lengthen back out. And we'll put on the headband. And inhale for nothing and exhale. Drawing the ribs towards the hips, coming straight up, not curling forward or back. And slowly lengthening back out. So the obliques are fascinating. They have two roles. They both rotate, and then they also do side flexion. Wicked smart muscles. Breath in for nothing. And exhale again. Drawing the ribs towards the hips. This pulls the head up. And we're just supporting the weight of the head and the hand, not pulling up with the hand. We want the obliques to do the work. Buffer breath. Breath in for nothing. And last, elbow head single. Lowering down. And I think we're ready to put it all together. On your next out breath, head and heel travels up, closing up the whole side waist. Slowly release. Puff your breath in and repeat. No strain. Gentle and easy. Slowly release down. Puff your breath. Breath in for nothing. And you're ready. Last one. And slowly lengthen down. Relax the arm down. And then slowly rolling onto your back. Pause. Pause and breathe. Sensing your two halves of your trunk. How does your brain see your trunk right now? What has changed in the motor cortex? We'll bend up the knees. And we're going to do the other side. I'm going to turn around so I can keep a watchful eye. Supporting your head however it is comfortable for you. And again, sense the back of the head and your sacrum on the same plane. Maybe again, take the hand to the waist and just check me 90-90 at the knees and at the hips. Breath in for nothing, and as you exhale, lift your top lower leg and slowly and as comfortable for you, lowering down. Proper breath. Breath in for nothing. And again, exhale. The door swings open. Now are you using your bottom hip to facilitate this? Can you keep stillness there? Slowly. Offer breath. And when you're ready, last one. Breath in for nothing and the out breath. Hikes the hip up. And then releases it out long again. And headband. Breath in for nothing. And exhale. Contract. External obliques and the intercostals. Slowly release down the muscles between the ribs. These muscles can get really stuck and our breathing will be very limited. When you're ready, on and out breath, contract. Armpit moves towards hip. And releasing back down. One more. When you're ready, on and out breath. Slowly come down. Out for breath. And both. Out breath. Head and heel. And slowly release. When you're ready, again, out breath. Slowly release. Last one. Maybe Ujjayi. Once down, take your time. Slowly turn onto your back again. Pause. We'll have a little chat with the psoas next. The psoas. We'll bend up the left leg. We'll take the hands behind the head again. We'll inhale, arch, and then exhale, flatten the back. And then lifting the head and the top of the shoulders, not much. And then lift your right legs, lifting just a smidge enough, 2, maybe 3 inches. Hold the leg up as you slowly lower the head down. Keep the low back down, keep the low back down. And then keep lengthening the leg out as you allow it to come down. Once down, pull completely. Belly breath in and out. And I'll repeat one more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flattening, lift just the top of the shoulders and the head, flatten the back, and then lift the legs. The toes are pointing slightly out to the side. That follows the fibers. And we're going to lengthen and lower the shoulders and head down, reach out through the foot. And take it down. Keep the back down. Keep the low back down until the foot is all the way down. And then we let go. Slide the left leg out. Breathing in and out. Sensing the path of the psoas. So that has some very different sensory nerves. It feels not like any of our other muscles. It's a very deep affair. Remember, it starts above the belly button, traces every lumbar spine of vertebrae through the pelvis to the upper inner thigh bone. So you may feel something anywhere along that line. You're going to slide the right leg up, place the foot on the mat, and again, if it's comfortable, hands behind the head, or skip this and just flattening, but don't lift. We'll inhale, we'll arch again. Exhale, flattening. If it's available, lifting head, tops of the shoulders, have the head support it. Lift the leg, lift the leg. Lengthen the upper trunk down, everything comes down, and then the leg. Slowly reach out, lengthen out, keep the low back down. And everything pulls. Everything pulls. We're going to do it just one more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, flatten. Head curls up. Leg lifts up. Slowly keep the low back down as you lower shoulders and head down. And then the leg lengthens. And eventually comes down. And slide your right leg out and release the arms. Take the legs about as wide as the mat and the arms about the same too. So the big X. Placing your arms in a way that's comfortable. As you inhale, press up through the right heel. And exhale, slink back to where you started. Reach out through your left arm. And slink back. So we're going to play with some different combinations here. Right arm reaches out and slinks back. Left heel presses out, takes the hip down with it, and we release back to neutral. Right heel again. So as we take the right hip down, the left hikes up. And everything returns to neutral. Left arm reaches back, takes the ribs with it. And slinks back. Right arm. And ribs. And back. Let the head just rock and roll as it wants to. Left heel reaches out and relaxes. One more time, right heel presses out. Releases back. Left arm, so moving on the diagonal. And back. Right arm. And ribs. And back. Left foot. And back. And draw the legs together. Take the arms a little bit closer, as close as comfortable for you. Actually, let's take them up and interlace the fingers. Press the palms towards the sky. Squeeze the legs together. And inhale, let's do a full body stretch, consolidating towards the midline. So we'll inhale back up. Switch the interlace of the fingers, press the palms towards the sky. And again, take the arms overhead. Consolidate towards the midline. And take the arms back up. And we're going to relax everything down for Shavasana. So separate the legs out a little further. Let your arms relax. And again, once you deem that you are perfectly placed, lift the head and just look. Is everything equidistant away from the midline? And let the body, a sense of melting. So there's a sense of both floating upward and melting downward. Spaciousness. Buoyancy on the in-breath. Release on the out. Now gently begin to deepen your breath. Wiggling fingers and toes. We'll bend up the knees. And rock the knees gently from side to side. Just little itty bitty rocks. Eventually rolling all the way over onto the right or left side. Pause here. We'll use our arms and hands to press up. I invite you to join me, bringing the palms together, chanting Om Shanti 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 Om, sending light and love and goodwill out into the world, but also into our heart space. Let's take a deep breath in. Om Shanti 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 Om. Exhale and bow your head towards your heart. You precious light soul with a name that chose to come here to do its work. Drawing the gaze back up. Thank you and namaste.